The time has finally come. Update 6.66 is now live, and along with that, Doom Eternal has received its largest content drop to date, with battlemode 2.0 launching a very small yet noticeable HUD update, some new controller schemes for those that choose to play on a controller, 2 entirely new master levels, and then of course the highly anticipated Horde Mode, which is pretty much all I'm going to focus on here in this video. I'm going to save the other master levels for its own dedicated videos, because there's a lot of content to sink your teeth into here. So we'll go over the master levels and then maybe some guides in the future, but I want to talk primarily about Horde Mode. I've spent a good amount of time with this game mode. I've beaten it 4 times. Once on Nightmare, and then the other 3 times were all on I'm Too Young to Die, mainly because I wanted to see what the randomizations were like. For those that haven't heard anything about this game mode, in this game mode, once you spawn in, all you have is just a combat shotgun. It's completely maxed out. You get both weapon mods. Your Praetor suit is completely maxed. You get all your runes, so as soon as you spawn in, you can set all that stuff up. So movement isn't really a problem. The issue, or really the challenge I should say, comes with your limited weapon arsenal and the fact that you're being put up against all the demons of the game, including demons from the DLC. So spirits, barons of hell, blood makers. Blood makers are actually a pain in the ass early on because you are going to be facing at least one, and all you have to deal with it is a combat shotgun. And then as you progress through the arenas, you're randomly given one weapon of your arsenal back, and then it becomes kind of a luck of the draw. This time your run can be a little bit easier because you get a specific weapon at a specific point just when you need it, so it makes the next fight easier. Other times you're gonna get screwed and only have a combat shotgun and a rocket launcher, which actually happened to me. So that's the exciting part. If I'm not mistaken, weapon randomization is infinite, while demon randomization has a set number. And from what I've seen, again, I only beat it 4 times, I could be speaking a little too early here, but from what I've seen, if you play it enough, you can have a general idea of what you're gonna be facing. By my 3rd or 4th run, I already knew what the general wave was looking like. The only thing that was really catching me off guard was the high value targets. It seems like with the high value targets, the specific demon changes, but the demon category doesn't. An example what I mean here is, for instance, when you play the first mission in Cultist base, the high value targets seem to always be fodder demon, imps, or gargoyles. And then in the next arena, it's a category up. I've gotten prowlers and I've gotten carcasses. And then if you make it all the way to the hold, I've had fights where, I don't want to ruin too much, but at a specific point, I had to take out 2 doom hunters, and then on another run, instead of taking out those 2 doom hunters, I had to take out 2 tyrants. So that's the only thing that's really been catching me off guard, and I'm kind of curious to see the other demons that would spawn in those places, or if it's really completely random and I'm just getting this weird loop where it's always this specific demon or that specific demon. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if it's scripted to a point, because it looks like all the bonus rounds from coin collecting, the traversals, and even the blitz rounds all seem to be the same every single time. Like by the time you get to the traversal and reclaimed earth, you're pretty much guaranteed the super shotgun. I mean, yeah, that's the second to last weapon at that point, but that traversal requires you to have the super shotgun because there's meat hook points involved. I mean, sure, you can get it much earlier, but I haven't been past that point without the super shotgun, so it just seems like you're guaranteed it. But anyways, the game mode is phenomenal. The sound design, again, is on a whole nother level. I mean, with all the shit going on in your screen, it's very important that you familiarize yourself with the sounds that every demon makes, so that way, when you have something like this going on your screen, you know beforehand just how much you're fucked. But also, if you're moving incredibly fast and you're just firing off grenades or sticky bombs, or just firing without looking or thinking, the sounds of demons dying and points being tallied up is a nice indication that, you know, you don't have to stop to ensure that you just killed what the hell you're shooting. Everything's dead, everything's tallied up, you can just keep going. But of course, with all the good comes a little bit of bad. First off, there's been this weird visual bug going on the loading screens for some reason. This isn't my TV or the recording, because if it was, then as soon as I hopped into the game, then those lines should still be there. There's also still the issue of demons randomly dying. I guess they're still getting stuck on the geometry and the environments. This is actually one of the clips. I finished up one of the Doom Hunters, went to go grab a Sentinel Hammer pickup, turned back around, use it on this Doom Hunter, and then he just died, which again, I'm assuming it's because he got stuck on the geometry, which I still get stuck on everything. Kind of annoying. I wish that was something that they were able to fix over this last 2 years or a year. So I've had a couple times where high value targets just basically killed themselves for me. And personally, I have a little bit of mixed feelings on the scoring system. There's no real incentive to kill demons incredibly fast, you know, go on this high kill streak without having a multiplier active. You know, there's no bonus for hoarding up a bunch of demons, hitting them with a flame belch, dropping a grenade, killing 4 or 5 with that grenade, while also taking care of a super heavy or a heavy in the background, and killing 5 or 6 demons like that doesn't grant you any bonus score without having a multiplier active, which kind of sucks, and it also looks like you're not really timed on your entire run. So there's no real incentive to kill everything as quickly as possible, with the exception of being in the blitz rounds, the traversal rounds, or even getting rid of the high value targets themselves. As much as I would like that, I'm assuming the reason why it isn't is for balancing purposes. I'd imagine that while the current system in place still does reward being very smart in terms of when to use the multiplier, the scoring system might have been a little too inconsistent or a little more challenging given the time frame that they had to develop in this game mode in to have that kind of grading system. Who knows, maybe in the future, a little doubtful on this one, maybe in the future they'll have that as a different type of game mode where your score is rated a little differently. Having it like that would have been nice, but I can see where that would have been a little bit of a problem. Speaking of scoring though, if you've already completed the arenas, I'm sure you've already seen the screen where your score is tallied up against your previous score. A suggestion of mine would be to not only show your overall score, but show your individual score in a direct one-to-one comparison from your previous run to what you're doing right now, and show that in game. So like when you're playing in the top right hand corner, it'll say your personal best, but that's your overall score. That's not the score that you had in the current arena. So there's no real way to gauge your performance now versus your previous performance until you hit that final end game or end mission stage where it tells you your overall score. I think something like that would benefit this game mode immensely. This game mode is all about not only hitting that leaderboard and showing everyone how good you are, but also I think besting your personal score and trying to one up yourself in every possible way. And sometimes you feel like you're doing great, and it turns out that in one specific area, it could be the multiplier, the combat score itself, or just the bonus rounds, you're just not hitting everything as quickly as possible, you're underperforming, and so you really don't have that live one-to-one comparison that I think this game mode really needs. So I would highly recommend to those guys over at id Software, if you're watching this, to consider the possibility of having something like that implemented. I also want to point out that at the very end of all 3 missions, when you completely beat Horde Mode, there's this weird bug where your previous run and all your XP is completely blank. So pretty trivial in the grand scheme of things, but all in all, fantastic game mode. I mean, I really don't have any complaints beyond that small suggestion and a little bit of disappointment in how the scoring system is, but that doesn't take away from the overall experience and the replayability that this game mode has. But let's talk about Horde Mode. What do you guys think? Have you guys given in to try it yet? What difficulties have you tried it on? What are your scores? Like I said, I beat it on Nightmare, and I'm actually playing with a fractured hand. I have a cast on, and I still somehow came in first, and I'm too young to die. I mean, of course I'm on console, but fuck it, still number 1. Also, little fun tip, for those of you that want to cheat your way to the top, you can technically abuse the order that the weapons are given to you in. And the way that you do it, well in my case anyways, is you need your game to crash, or in other words, I'm assuming you can do it by just quitting your game, by dashboarding out of it. The catch here being, you will be put at the very start of the mission that you're in. So say you're on the very last arena of Reclaimed Earth, your game crashes, or you decide to dashboard. I don't know why you would want to do that at the end of Reclaimed Earth, but when you put the game back up, you will be put at the very beginning of that mission, but the randomization of weapons kicks back in. And like I said, I know this because my game ended up crashing on me in the second arena of Reclaimed Earth. I booted it back up, it put me at the very start, but my weapon order was completely different, making the blitz round where I had to kill 15 prowlers a breeze, because the next 2 weapons I got were actually the ballista and then the super shotgun. So yeah, hopefully that isn't gonna be used.